Hello, what's the deal? It's Big Dog, you hear me? Kevin Cooley from Kanye West to Violent Rampages and Serious Scandals. I'm gonna be here keeping you guys connected. So do me a favor and buckle up and bang and hit that like and subscribe button so I can take you along for this ride. My thoughts. White woman who fatally shot black neighbor through a front door, arrested on manslaughter charges. I'm getting tired of seeing this man Ben Crump. Every time I see this man, I think of injustice. I think of wrongdoings. I think of somebody's family crying. I think of a mother who has to bury her son prematurely. I think of a father who can't take his son out to shoot a basketball or be able to teach his son how to drive. When I see Ben Crump, I already know what comes behind it. Some racist, penis envy thugs who have no regard for human life. Take note that thugs come in every race, religion, and sex. This homicidal demon is a 58-year-old white woman out of control who left 4 kids orphaned by shooting their beautiful mother through a door in front of their 10-year-old brother. Let's not forget that April 13th incident that 84-year-old half-dead thug Andrew Lester shoots an unarmed black kid through the door. Shooting people through doors or walls is a militarized tactic being weaponized on the black community. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree or disagree. News. A white woman charged with fatally shooting a black neighbor through a door has a history of harassing children and using racial slurs against them, the neighbor said Wednesday. Louise Lorincz, 58, was arrested Tuesday on charges of manslaughter with a firearm, culpable negligence, battery, and 2 counts of assault. The Marion County Sheriff Office said in a statement, manslaughter with a firearm is a felony punishable with up to 30 years in prison. The arrest came a few days after authorities said Lorincz shot AJ Owens, a 35-year-old mother of 4, through her front door in Oakland on Friday night. The sheriff's office said Owens had approached Lorincz home, knocked on the door multiple times, and demanded that Lorincz come outside and settle a dispute. At least 2 of the Owens children witnessed the shooting, according to the sheriff's office, which was criticized by civilians' rights attorney Ben Crump and the grieving family over the piece of the investigation. It was not immediately clear whether Lorincz, who is being held in the Marion County Jail, had an attorney who could speak on her behalf. In an interview with NBC News, the neighbors recalled the time that she said the suspect recorded their children, taunted them with slurs, called the police, and waved guns at them just for being kids. Hours before the shooting, Franklin Collins was playing in the field with his son and other children when he said Lorincz struck her middle finger up at him. Collins, who added Owens was the first person to warn him about Lorincz when he moved to the neighborhood about 2 years ago, said the suspect started recording and streaming all kinds of nonsense towards me, towards the kids, towards everyone else. Everybody in the neighborhood, everybody in the neighborhood has feuded with this lady over our children. Phyllis Wills, 33, have lived in the neighborhood about 15 years. She knew Owens and knew of Lorincz because she used to come outside all the time and harass our kids. She said, everybody in the neighborhood has feuded with this lady over our children. She said Lorincz had a problem with children simply being children. Our kids used to play in the fields over there all the time. It's an apartment complex. These are children who, you know, they're they're going to do things every time they went every time they went, even in the patch of grass over there, she would be like, "Get off my lawn, you B, or you retard, or you N-words." N-words mean nigger. She would wave guns at them, Will said. Wills continued, she recorded them every time she came outside. She got into the truck and blasted the radio as loud as she could to irritate the kids. She got into her truck and laid on the horn for long periods of time to irritate them as well. She sped out in her truck. She spit out in her truck just crazy things. She said she never called the police on Lorincz, but has stood in my yard and yelled at her for the way she talks to the kids, but I never actually had a conversation with her. She wasn't somebody that you could converse with. Sharon Mazel, 36, who lived in the neighborhood about 12 years, said Lorincz was a problem with the kids. Her 10-year-old daughter would most frequently play outside with other children in the neighborhood. Lorincz used to come outside and she used to record them constantly. She would just flick them off while she's recording the kids, calling them out of their names, said Marcel, the mother of children ranging from 10 to 19. She added Lorincz would bully the children, was known in the neighborhood as Karen, a term for white women who harasses people of color and has a reputation for racism. Mazel said to their youngest daughter told her that Lorincz would record them and then contact authorities for the mere act of playing. Karen called the police on us today. Mazel said her daughter would tell her. She continued, but the police never do anything because there were kids or just playing. Like, I don't understand, like, what was her motive or what was the problem. Colin was inside the home around 9 a.m. Colin was at the home around 9 p.m. when he said he heard what sounded like a firecracker. His son told Owens he had been shot, and people in the neighborhood, including children, were standing around crying, according to the sheriff's office. Lorincz had been angry because Owens' children were playing in the neighborhood field and engaged in an argument with the children. During the argument, Lorincz threw a skate at Owens' 10-year-old son and later swung an umbrella at him and his siblings. According to the sheriff's office, Owens then knocked on Lorincz' door multiple times, and Lorincz fired one shot through the door, the sheriff's office said. Owens was hit in the upper chest and pronounced dead at the hospital. According to the sheriff's office, Colin said he performed CPR on her until police and EMTs arrived. When I saw her and everything, I'm like, oh crap. I started scanning for open wounds. No exit wound, just an upper right chest wound, he said. Colin looked to make sure Lorincz was not around. He said, adding she did not come outside after the shooting. Wills was preparing dinner when one of Owen's children pounded on her door. It was so loud my windows were shaking, she said. So I'm like, what the heck? And I go and open the door, and it was Isaac, her oldest son, and he's like gasping for air. He can't even barely talk, and he's like, the lady shot my mom. When he said that, I already knew who he was talking about because she was the only person out here that feuded with the children, Willis added. Crump, who represents Owen's family and the slain woman relatives and loved one, had said that Lorincz had used racial slurs against Owen's children prior to the fatal encounter. One of the children left an iPad behind, which the woman took, he said. A sheriff's incident report, which is redacted, mentioned that deputies were told at the scene that an iPod was taken by a woman who was at the time described as the suspect. Deputies had been responding to a call about trespassing that night when they were informed that there was a shooting, and they arrived to find Owens laying on the grass, not breathing. According to a sheriff's office incident report, Lorincz told investigators that she acted in self-defense. And that Owens been there to break down her door prior to her discharging her firearm, the sheriff's office said in a statement. In an interview Tuesday, Crump said there could be no justification for the killing. No way she should feel that this person knocking on the door would be able to cause death to her or immediate bodily harm, he said. And if she did feel for her life, call the police. Why shoot through a door? Manslaughter's son, Jermaine Wilson, 18, said he witnessed the aftermath of the shooting. He said that when he went outside, he saw police cars everywhere and then saw Owens on the ground and someone performing CPR. He said didn't know at the time what was happening and didn't know Owens had been shot. Wilson said he didn't know Owens well, but knew her 12-year-old son because they would play basketball together with others neighborhood children. She said she never bothered nobody. She was mostly definitely always in the house and doing what she had to do for her kids, he said. Just another black soul lost to earth, it's just not what we need. Bro, this world is really, really nasty, Wilson added. At a news conference Wednesday afternoon, Crump said he hopes prosecutors consider upgrading Lorincz charges to murder and also take into account witness statements for neighborhoods who said their children has been harassed by the suspect. We are grateful to Sheriff Woods for making the arrest. We don't take that lightly. We don't take it for granted because black people are getting swift justice in America. Is not something that happens all the time, Crump said. Even though we are bothered that it took 4 days, we understand because of law like stand your ground, it can complicate matters, the attorney added. He said killing Owens was not justified under the self-defense law. It was simply a killing. Wood said Palmer Diaz, Owens' mother, sat down with the MSNBC on Wednesday and spoke at the news conference. Her grandchildren, who ranges in age from 3 to 12, have been impacted in such many ways since their mother's death, she said. Mothers killed blamed themselves for her death. Since her mother's death, she said, Diaz noted Owens' 2 boys, including a 9-year-old who saw his mother killed, blames himself for the death. In his soul, in his heart, in his fault. In his soul, in his heart, it's his fault, she said, explaining how the children told his mother what Lorincz allegedly did prior to the shooting, which promoted the confrontation. Diaz added, our 12-year-old blames himself for the death of his mother because he couldn't save her. He couldn't give her CPR. His words were, Grandma, I couldn't save her. Very sad. Mazda said the shooting has impacted the neighborhood too. Ocala is a city around 63,000 residents, about 60 miles north of Orlando. The mood has changed, the vibe has changed out here. Nothing is really different, but you could feel it. It's eerie now because it's always been quiet, and it's just like something major like that happened is just like so sad. We're not used to things like that, she said. In conclusion, I'm not sure if there's a handbook of how to kill black people floating around. I would say this in the white community, but this is happening to my people in every community. A Asian man and his thug son ran a young black male down and shot him in his back because they thought he stole from them. Time and time again, it proves to me that black lives don't matter. While this 58-year-old thug just turned herself in, there's 4 kids without a mother. While this thug will see the light of day, again, these kids' life will be changed forever. To the victim, I'm sorry that this had to happen to you, and I know words can't describe what you're going through. To the killer, congratulations. You are officially a murderer, and I hope you have the rest of your life to think about how badly you fucked up. Until then, get your life right, follow Christ, and quit the dissing. I am.